Hey guys, so today we're going to be doing a full review and road test of this guy right here. This is the SWFT SWFT Zip motorcycle style fat tire electric bike. We've got 4-inch fat tires on here, a powerful 500-watt rear motor, also a range of up to 38 miles, and a top speed of 20 miles an hour. Now we're going to start things off today by going top to bottom here on the bike. I'm going to show you all the features and specs so we know exactly what we're working with. And then as usual, I'm going to take you out on a ride. We're going to test the Zip out in the real world on the streets so you can see exactly how it performs. And this is going to include an acceleration test, a top speed test. We'll also do a full speed brake test to see how well the brakes work. We'll see if we can ride around in some grass. And I'm in super flat South Florida, but I might be able to find an overpass or two to ride up so we can do a hill test. So stick around because we got lots to get to in today's episode of Hobart Reviews. Let's go ahead and get started. The SWFT Zip comes in only one color, black, and it's currently selling on their website for $1,499. They also include free shipping. Now, if you can't afford to pay everything up front, they do offer monthly payments through Shop Pay starting at $135 a month. Now, the Zip has a powerful 48-volt, 500-watt rear motor that gets this thing up to 20 miles an hour pretty quickly. And I'm going to show you how quick when we go on a ride here in a few minutes and do our acceleration test. So the Zip has front and rear mechanical disc brakes. I kind of feel at this price point they should be using hydraulic brakes, but the mechanical brakes seem to work really well. I haven't had much squeaking out of them yet. I'm starting to hear a little bit, so we'll have to see if it gets any worse. Now, make sure to stick around for my ride because we're going to be doing a full speed brake test to see if we come to a controlled stop or do we skid out of control. You're not going to want to miss that. Well, this is a fat tire electric bike, isn't it? So we got to have some fat tires. Look at those babies. So we got 20-inch rims and 4-inch wide fat tires. Now, the fat tires give you extra cushioning when you're going over bumps in the road, especially when you're on off-road trails. Speaking of trails, all these little extra nubbies on here are going to give you extra traction when you're riding on dirt or riding on trails, so you can make sure that you're nice and stable and you don't fall. Of course, you can ride it on the road as well. You just get a little bit of an extra hum from these nubbies on there. Kind of sounds like a big Jeep driving down the road. But overall, these tires are really nice. So the Zip has a 48-volt, 10-amp-hour removable lithium-ion battery. That's going to get you a range of up to 38 miles on a charge. Now, SWFT does say that if you're going to be using the throttle only, you'll probably get around 22 miles, which is cool that they're being honest about it. It also has a 600 charging cycle lifespan, which means that you're not going to see any degrading of range for 600 full charges. That's like 1.5 to 2 times as much as the average e-bike or electric scooter, and that's a great feature. That means you're not going to have to buy a new battery for a long, long time. Now, right up here is your charging port, and you also have an on and off switch here. So if you do buy this bike and you can't turn it on up in the cockpit, don't forget you have to turn the on and off switch down here on the battery itself for the bike to power on. Now, let me show you how to remove it. So to remove the battery, it's pretty simple. They give you 2 keys included with it, so don't lose them. You're just going to turn the key and lift it and slide it right off of the frame. So you can see right here. Also, another cool feature I like is that it's got a battery indicator. So you can just push this little button here and see how much battery you have left at any time. Another great feature about the removable battery is that you could take this along with the charger inside, maybe the restaurant or even your home, so that you don't have to bring the whole bike with you. And when you're all done charging it, you just put it right back on the frame like so, turn the key, and you're ready to ride. Now, the Zip does have a really nice Shimano 6-speed shifter with plenty of gears to give you resistance if you want to get some exercise when you're out riding on the bike. Now, there is one caveat that I want to tell you about when we go out on the ride, and that has to do with the top speed and pedaling and how they work together. So make sure you stick around so you can see what I'm talking about. Now, one of the features that I like here on the Zip is this front dual fork motorcycle style suspension. It reminds me of another bike that I reviewed recently called the Haidas B10. And when I was riding that bike at high speeds, it was so stable I was able to ride with just one hand. So we're going to have to see if that's the same situation here on the Zip. Now, unfortunately, we don't have any rear suspension, so we're going to have to see how that affects the overall ride here on the Zip in just a few minutes when we head out on the ride. Now, of course, we couldn't leave out this big motorcycle-style seat here. It's actually one of the most prominent features here on the Zip itself. And what's really cool is they've given us an area for the rider and then a raised area back here for a second person. Now, it does look really nice and big and comfortable, doesn't it? Unfortunately, it does feel a little bit hard, so after our long ride, we're going to have to determine whether our butt hurts or not, so make sure you stick around for that. Now, up in the cockpit here, it's pretty simple. We've got our grips over here, which actually have palm rest on them and are really grippy, so if you live in a place like me in South Florida, where it is super hot all the time, you don't have to worry about not having enough grip. Of course, you got your brake lever here. We have a nice LCD screen that has some pretty easy controls. To power on the bike, you're just gonna hold on to that power button and it will turn the bike on and off. Give yourself a few extra seconds. This one seems to take a little bit longer than normal. And then to go for your different speed modes, we're right now in pedal assist 1. You just push the up arrow and it's pedal assist 2 and pedal assist 3. To go back down, pedal assist 2 and pedal assist 1. All right. Now over on this side, we've got our Shimano 6-speed shifter. You're going to go from 6 to 1 by pushing the lever, and then the button is going to make you go from 1 up to 6. You do have a half twist throttle here, which I kind of like. I kind of like the full throttle here because you kind of have to turn half your hand and then hold it at the same time, when I'd rather just turn the entire grip. All right, let's go ahead and start off our ride with an acceleration test. And this is where I test how long it takes to get to the top speed, in this case, 20 miles an hour. Now, I got to say, the other product that I have tested from SWFT, the Max G electric moped, only had a 400 watt motor, but it felt like it was a 1,000 watt motor. So I'm interested to see if this thing has got some good pickup, or does it take a long time to get to that top speed. So let's go ahead and use the 0 start, and let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 seconds. That's it. 9 seconds is all it takes to get to 20 miles an hour. That's pretty good for a 500 watt motor. It definitely has some get up and go. If you look, when I hit that throttle, it wants to jerk me forward. So even I could probably pull, look at that, pull the wheel right off the front, off the ground. It wants to go so bad. So you can see this really has some torque in it. So let's do it again. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There it is again, 9 seconds. So that's really good for the Zip to get to the top speed of 20 miles an hour. You're going to accelerate pretty quickly. Nice. Now, one thing that I have noticed about this e-bike is that the pedaling only gets you to around 16 miles an hour. I'm not sure if you can see that, but we're at 16 miles an hour with pedaling. Now, you can pedal extremely hard and maybe get to 17 if you're lucky, but if you use the throttle, you can get all the way up to that top speed of 20 miles an hour. All right, so now I want to go ahead and test the different speed modes. We're in speed mode 1 right now, and it looks like that it stopped helping me at about 8 miles an hour. So let's go to speed mode 2. Whoa, kick in the pants there. And we're getting about 12 miles an hour now in speed mode 2. And whoa, we'll go to speed mode 3, and it's giving us that same 16.6 miles an hour. And then, of course, if we use the throttle, we're going to get that full speed of 20 miles an hour. So there are your different speed modes and the speeds that you'll get up to with help from the motor. All right, so I told you we're going to do a full speed brake test. So let's go ahead and slam on the brakes and see what happens. Whoa, well, that was pretty nice. Looks like that I probably stopped at about 20-25 feet. There was a little bit of a skid at the end, but overall it felt really controlled. Sometimes when you slam on the brakes on some of these disc brakes, it locks up the wheels and you can almost kind of skid out of control, but I didn't feel that here on the Zip. So a really good brake test. And like I said, I mean, maybe 30 feet or so, I was able to stop from 20 miles an hour. So if there's ever an emergency or anything like that, you shouldn't have any issues stopping really fast and also keeping control of the bike at the same time. All right, well, let's go ahead and test this thing off-road here. Doing some pedaling, speed mode 3. Seems to be doing okay. Suspension does help a little bit with some of the bumps. I'm doing the full 16 miles an hour. Let's go ahead and hit the throttle and see if we can get up to 20 and how that feels. Wow. 19.3, 19.9. Feels nice and grippy. I don't feel like I'm gonna slide out or anything, so the Zip is able to go off-road without any issues at all. Really nice. All right, so I see this little trail here. Let's do a little bit more off-roading and see how it handles these rocks. How about we do a brake test? I'm not gonna do it at 20, but how about 15? Whoa, see? And we didn't even skid. We're slamming on the brakes at 15, so the brakes really do a good job of stopping us without making us feel like we're going out of control. So if you like to ride on off-road trails like this, those knobby tires give you lots of grip so I don't feel like I'm gonna fall. I mean, I'm riding on rocks and stuff too, so, you know, these can get kind of slippery at times. I'm on this grass or this hay, still feels nice and grippy. All right, let's go ahead and try another brake test, go. Whoa. All right, well, that time was a little bit different. I did skid sideways a little bit. As you can see, I was going straight on the trail, and now I'm a little bit sideways, but my front wheel kept grip. The back wheel is the one that slid out a little bit. So overall, even when you're off-road, I'd say the brakes do a good job. And those knobby tires also do a good job of keeping the grip when you're on stuff like this, because it can get really slippery. Now, so far, I've ridden about, I don't know, 8-9 miles on this thing. I got about a half a battery life left. And what I feared was after a few miles, my butt would start hurting because the seat is a little bit hard. And that seems to be the case right now. So my rear end is starting to get a little tired, and I might have to get off for a butt break here in just a few minutes. It's a nice big seat, but it's not the softest of seats. And after a few miles, your butt does hurt a little bit. So if there's something that I wish they could change, it would definitely be to make this seat a little bit more plush so it doesn't hurt your rear end after riding just a few miles. All right, so you see this big old pile of dirt right here? Well, there's a ramp that goes from over here all the way up to the top there where the dump trucks were going up and dumping dirt. And I'm at about half battery right now, and I'm wondering how far I can get up this hill with the Zip before it cuts out or before I stop. So let's go ahead and give it a try and see if we can get up this hill. This is some pretty soft dirt here, but let's go ahead and give it a try. Full throttle. Going up, going up, going up. So I was just talking to a guy who was up here looking for stuff, and I wasn't quite sure what he was looking for. And he said that South Florida used to be all underwater. Well, what he's finding over here is old fossilized bones and shark teeth. He just showed me a whole handful of shark teeth. And so now I think I got a new project over here where I could come over here and find shark teeth maybe 10 miles from the ocean in the middle of South Florida. He's finding shark teeth. It's just incredible. See if I can get up this dirt hill over here. Half battery, speed mode 3, full throttle. Can I get up? Can I get up? It's powering up, baby. It's powering up. Go, 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 go. Oh, it's still going. It's still going. Can I get to the top? Can I get to the top? Yes. Wow. So that's a perfect example of what they're digging. They're digging these big lakes in here because they're going to be putting a whole bunch of houses in here. And all of this dirt right here comes from in there. And we're talking, I don't know, maybe 80 to 100 feet deep. They're digging really deep. And so all of this stuff has got, I guess, shark teeth and fossilized bones from the Ice Age is what he was saying. And so he was out here looking for bones and things like that, which I never knew even existed. So you can see some of the shells here. These are all shells from the water. As you can see, look, this is a shell that you would normally find at the ocean. And it's right here in this pile of dirt. That's just cool as can be. Wow. All right, let's see if we can get down this thing. Look, there's one. Here's a shell you might find at the beach. Right there. Look at that. There's another one right there. Look at that one. And one right here. Wow. I had no idea. So you never know what you're going to learn when you're out filming a YouTube video. I'm going to have to come back out here on my own and see if I can find some shark teeth. That's so cool. Anyways, back to the video. Doing some off-roading. Half battery. Not having an issue. Ooh, suspension. Working pretty good. Ugh. Tires gripping. Look at that, I can still turn. Riding in these ruts. No problems at all. All right, so I'm down to about 2 battery bars right now, and I've been under throttle basically the whole time. I've gone about 17 miles on this ride so far. Now, I wanted to see how close I could get to that 22-mile figure that they were talking about using throttle only, and I feel like I'm going to get there. I might not get all the way there, but I think the battery will last, being that I still have 2 miles or 2 battery bars left, and I'm at 17 miles, so that's pretty good. Well, on today's ride, I was able to get this thing to 20 miles on a charge, and I still have 2 battery bars left, and that falls right in line with what Swift was saying, 22 miles if you're using the throttle only, and that's basically what I did 99% of the time today. So having 2 battery bars left, I definitely think I could reach that 22 miles, if not even more, on a single charge using the throttle only. Now, keep in mind, you can get up to 38 miles on a charge if you're pedaling most of the time, but I really think that that's a good job and real honest of them to tell us, hey, if you're going to use that throttle the whole time, you're only going to get around 22 miles, and that seems to be the case. Something else that I like about this thing is the acceleration. For 500 watts, this thing gets up and goes. It is zippy, and maybe that's why they gave the bike the name the Zip, because it gets up and goes. As you saw on my acceleration test, we were able to get up to 20 miles an hour in just 9 seconds, which is really, really nice. Also, the brakes work really well. The front and rear disc brakes have got no squeaking so far, which is always a huge pro when it comes to disc brakes on electric bikes and scooters. But it was also able to provide a controlled stop when I was going full speed and slam down the brakes at 20 miles an hour on the pavement, only skidding those last few feet, but still feeling like I was in full control and not going to crash. Now, when we were on the off-road trails and the rocks and things like that, I was able to also slam on those brakes at around 15 miles an hour. And while the rear end did slide a little bit, the front kept its full grip. And again, I didn't feel like at any point in time I was going to crash or go out of control. So the brakes work really well. I also like that front suspension. Now, do I wish we had rear suspension? Yes, it probably would smooth things out a little bit more. But the front suspension worked really well when going off-road and riding over some of those bumps or jumping curbs, as you saw me do earlier as well. So the front suspension is nice and squishy and smooths out the ride for sure. Now, something that I don't like about it is this seat right here. The seat is a little bit too hard. Now, I know it looks nice and big and plush and cushy, but it's not. It's definitely a hard seat. So when you ride a few miles, your butt starts to hurt, get a little bit numb, and you got to take a break and get off it for a few minutes to let the blood get back to your rear end. So if I had to change anything, it would be to please make this seat a little bit more plush, a little bit more squishy, so that when you're riding for a few miles, your butt doesn't start to hurt. One more thing that I thought was not one of my favorites, and that's the fact that you can only pedal up to 16 miles an hour, with the top speed being 20 miles an hour. Now, of course, you can use the throttle to get to that 20 miles an hour, but you can't pedal up to 20 miles an hour, and that's something different than I've seen on any other e-bike that I've tested. Usually, you can do either or and get to the top speed before the motor cuts off. In this case, the motor stopped helping me at 16 miles an hour, and I would have to pedal really hard just to get to 17 miles an hour, while the throttle gets me to 20 really easily. So those are just a couple of things that I wasn't a fan of, but overall, it's a really nice bike. It's really comfortable to ride. It's fast. It accelerates fast. And so overall, I think that you'd really like it. Now, it sells online for $1,499 on the Swift website, unless they put it on sale. And I'll go ahead and leave a link down below for you if you want to purchase one of these guys. Also, if you have any questions or comments about the Zip, please go ahead and leave them in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Well, I had a lot of fun today. I hope you did too. Thanks so much for joining me for the Swift Zip motorcycle style electric bike and Hobart Reviews. My name is Hobart. Thanks for joining me. Have a great rest of your day and safe riding.